Hello guys and welcome back. Today I will be changing the engine oil for my Skoda Rapid 1.0 TSI. This is a 2021 model and have clocked close to 60,000 kilometers. I will be changing the engine oil and the oil filter only since the air filter and the cabin filter was changed some time back. I'm using Mobil 1.0 for this oil change as opposed to the service center which fills 5W40. Both the oils are BW502 rated, which is what the spec calls for, as also written in the owner's manual for the Skoda vehicles sold in India, specifically the Rapid, Vento and Polo. So this oil can be used for Skoda Rapid, VW Vento and VW Polo 1.0 TSI engines, which were manufactured in India and were sold between 2020 to 2022. So coming on to the drain plug of the engine is located on the front driver side below the engine. So this is a 19-inch drain plug and I will be using my 19-inch socket wrench to crack open this drain plug. So the drain plug has been cracked open and I will be collecting the drained oil into a makeshift oil pan which I have used from a 5-liter mineral water bottle which was lying around in the house. So once the oil is drained completely from here, we will be opening the oil filter and from there some more oil will be drained. So one thing to note here is that the engine oil change should always be performed when the engine oil is at operating temperature or it is hot. The operating temperature is 100 degrees Celsius, but if you are not comfortable with 100 degrees Celsius, it should be near about the 100 degrees Celsius, somewhere around 70-80 degrees. Never perform an oil change on a cold engine or when the engine oil temperature is very low, because this way you will not be able to drain the entire engine oil since the oil flows better when it is hot. Another thing to pay attention here is that the drain plug is accompanied by a crush washer which is to be replaced whenever you open the drain plug from the oil pan. So I will be replacing this crush washer as well. Otherwise, if there might be a possibility where the engine oil might leak slowly from the drain plug. So the oil has drained completely now. I will clean the oil pan around the drain plug area. And if you see, there are still droplets that are coming out. This will keep on coming out. You need to clean the area and plug back the drain plug. And if you see closely, I have replaced the crush washer. This crush washer is what prevents the oil from leaking from the drain plug. So I have tightened the drain plug by hand and now I will be using the socket wrench to tighten it up further. Ideally you should be using a torque wrench for this, but since I don't have one, I will have to make do with whatever I have. Also please note that do not apply too much pressure while tightening up the drain plug, because the drain plug might strip on the oil pan and then you will not be able to control, or the engine oil will flow out continuously and you will have to get the oil pan replaced along with the drain nut. So the drain plug is tightened up. Let me give it a quick clean and then we will remove the oil filter. So this is the oil filter. This is located at the front of the engine behind the bumper, right next to the AC compressor. I will be using the oil filter socket to remove the oil filter. Removing the oil filter should not take this much of an effort. If it is taking too much of an effort here, that means either the oil filter was over tightened or the gasket was not lubricated enough while tightening the oil filter. So before loosening up the oil filter, please put a drain pan below it, because the oil which is in the galleries of the oil filter will come out and it might spill over the entire surface. After loosening the oil filter for about 4 to 5 threads, keep it steady. This way some oil which is in the galleries will flow out, and then you can easily loosen the entire oil filter. So there might be a gush of oil that might come out of the oil filter, and that might get either spilled or you might burn yourself in the process. Hence, keep it slow and catch all the oil that is coming out of the oil filter. So let me remove the oil filter completely now. And as you can see, the oil came running out. Now wait for the oil to be entirely dripped from the oil filter housing, and then give it a clean wipe. Also, you need to drain the old oil filter completely, otherwise it will leak oil wherever you keep it. So I have wiped up the area around the oil filter housing. So this is the engine oil that I'm going to use today. This is Mobil 1.0 and Mobil 1 claims that this is their top of the line variant. It is API SP rated, which is the highest API rating as of now, as you can see. And this is also VW502 rated, if the camera can spot at the back of the oil cover. This is a 4-liter pack. There you go, VW502. This is the OEM Skoda oil filter. You can see the part number here. This is a spin-on oil filter. That means the entire filter assembly gets changed, and that is the rubber gasket on top of it. We need to lubricate it. Let me open the oil can now. This is the original Mobil 1 seal, which is found on original Mobil 1 engine oil packs. I have used the 5W40 variant of this Mobil 1 as well, and hence it also had the same seal. So let us lubricate the rubber gasket on top of the oil filter. So this is done so that the oil filter does not stick to the body of the engine, and also it should seat properly with the oil filter housing. So if you remember, while removing the old oil filter, it was not coming out easily. That is prevented when you apply a layer of oil onto the gasket of the oil filter. So let us mount the oil filter now. So I will tighten the oil filter by hand as much as possible, and this is what the workshop manual also says. And then I will use my socket wrench to tighten it up a bit further, not too much. So the oil filter doesn't need to be tightened too much. It should be tight enough so that the oil filter is not rolling anymore and there is no oil dripping from the oil filter. Obviously the dripping of the oil can be only checked once you fill in the oil. So that is a post check that you do once you fill the engine oil. Using my wrench to tighten this oil filter a bit. Yeah, so this should be good enough. So I had already removed the engine oil dipstick and the engine oil filler cover or the filler cap. I will be giving it a thorough clean to both of them, and then I will be putting it back once I fill the oil. Even the dipstick should be put only after you fill the oil, since when you fill the oil there will be some air which will be displaced. I will keep the dipstick removed until I fill some 3.5 to 3.7 liters of oil here. And once I have done that, I will check the oil level with the dipstick, and if needed more, I will add more oil based on the dipstick readings. Okay, now is the time to fill in the engine oil. The engine oil capacity for 1 liter TSI engines or the 1 liter TSI EA211 engines is 4 liters. Never add the entire amount of oil in one go, because there might already be some oil which is inside the engine, since you cannot drain the engine completely. So always rely on dipstick values to top up the oil. So I have filled in around 3.7 liters of oil now. I will use the dipstick to check the level of the oil as of now. So as per the dipstick reading, I can see that some more oil can be filled, around 200 to 300 ml of it. So I will top up the oil. Always check the oil level in the dipstick when the car is on level ground. Otherwise your reading will be flawed and it will be incorrect. So let me now start the car and idle it for 5 minutes. Yeah, I see no issues with the engine idling, and the dipstick level also is at the max. So I will keep the engine oil at this level and call it a day. So this is the engine oil that came out from the engine. If you can see, the car was driven for around 6,500 kilometers only, since my last service was at 54,000 kilometers. and I'm changing the oil at 60,000 kilometers. And if you can see the color of the oil, it is deep black. So that means adhering to 15,000 kilometer intervals for these cars is really a no-brainer. You should be changing your oil frequently. I do it all the time. I usually keep 7,500 kilometers as the air limit, and so far the engine has given no problems and is running very smooth. Thank you for watching.